This is Mac OS Ken.
A raised target for Apple, a probable trip for Tim Cook, and Apple pushes back against Canada, of all places. It is Friday, the 8th of May, 2026. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by OneSkin, a new standard for your skin. Try it now with 15% off using code MacOSKen at oneskin.co/MacOSKen. This show is also sponsored by NordLayer, a toggle-ready network security platform built for today's business. Whether you own a business or run IT for one, you've got a lot to worry about. Let NordLayer take security concerns off your plate. NordLayer combines VPN, access control, and threat protection in one easy-to-use platform. Yes, your staff needs to be on its toes, but NordLayer adds a layer of protection, working to keep malware, ransomware, and phishing attempts from ever reaching your team. And they keep up with hard-to-spot threats, like devices you haven't okayed and unauthorized use of AI. NordLayer looks out for those visibility gaps, blocking unsafe or unauthorized hardware and services. All of that with no huge setup, 24/7 support, and an exclusive offer for macOS Ken listeners. Get up to 22% off NordLayer yearly plans plus 10% on top with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. Try it risk-free with their 14-day money-back guarantee. NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code MacOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. One from Wall Street missed earlier this week. Tony Sacconagi's successor has upped his price target on Apple shares. TipRanks ran a piece earlier this week that had Bernstein research analyst Mark Newman raising his 12-month target on the Cupertino company. According to the piece, he was pleased with Apple's March quarter results and buoyed by June quarter guidance. The piece says Newman also noted the strength in Q2 gross margin of 49.3%, with Q3 guidance at 48%, share gains in smartphones and PCs playing out and expected to continue, according to the Analyst. He used this week's note to reiterate his buy rating on Apple shares. He also moved his firm's target on the shares from $340 to $350. The President of the United States is headed to China next week, and he's apparently taking the heads of a number of companies with him. Semaphore ran a piece Thursday that had the administration planning to invite the CEOs of Apple, Blackstone, Boeing, Citigroup, Exxon, Nvidia, Qualcomm, and Visa to join President Trump as he goes glad-handing China's leader, Xi Jinping. I say planning to invite. Who knows? Maybe the administration's already done that. Spokespeople for the White House and the companies didn't immediately respond to Semaphore's request for comment. So what are they all going to do there? Fair question with no concrete answer. The piece says expectations are low for specific deals beyond soybeans and Boeing jets. The focus, administration officials said, is more on building the relationship between Trump and Xi Jinping. No offense to our friends in Canada, but what the hell, Canada? A piece from 9 to 5 Mac says Apple and Meta have come out publicly against legislation proposed by our neighbors to the north. Getting Apple and Facebook on the same page these days? No easy task. Citing a piece from Reuters, 9 to 5 Mac says the bill in question could give the Canadian government the power to force companies to break encryption or build backdoors into their products. According to the report, Bill C-22 would expand the investigative tools available to Canadian law enforcement for accessing digital information tied to criminal investigations. Bill doesn't say anything about encryption specifically, and who can blame them? Openly talking about backdoors and breaking encryption tends to attract attention. This is one case, though, where Apple is happy to sound the alarm. In a statement to Reuters, Apple said, "At a time of rising and pervasive threats from malicious actors seeking access to user information, Bill C-22, as drafted, would undermine our ability to offer the powerful privacy and security features users expect from Apple. This legislation could allow the Canadian government to force companies to break encryption by inserting backdoors into their products, something Apple will never do." Meta concurs. In its own prepared remarks, the company was quoted as saying that as drafted, the bill could require companies like Meta to build or maintain capabilities that break, weaken, or circumvent encryption or other zero-knowledge security architectures, and force providers to install government spyware directly on their systems. Currently, Bill C-22 is still up for debate. However, 9 to 5 Mac points out that it was brought by Canada's ruling Liberal Party, which gained a majority in Parliament last month. Students and teachers in Australia and parts of Asia can now get Apple Watch at education prices. Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has updated its store in a number of regions, dropping the price on the wearable to qualified buyers. I say dropping the price on the wearable, but it's actually up and down the line. Discounted pricing is now available for Apple Watch SE 3, Apple Watch Series 11, and Apple Watch Ultra 3 in Australia, China, Hong Kong, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, OneSkin, a new standard for your skin. When it comes to OneSkin, I spend a lot of time talking about OS One Face. That's because it has literally changed how I see myself. After using OS One Face for right around a month, I feel better about my face than I have in years. But faces aren't all they do. OS One Body Moisturizer improves skin texture, appearance, and hydration. OS One Hair Scalp Serum addresses visible hair changes associated with age and stress. And just like OS One Face, it is all dermatologist-tested, fragrance-free, and suitable for sensitive skin. If healthier skin is a concern, I'd encourage you to give OneSkin a try. Start at oneskin.co/macOSken. With over a decade of research behind it, OneSkin's OS One peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code macOSken at oneskin.co/macOSken. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code macOSken. When they ask you where you heard about them, please tell them you heard it on macOSken. Try OneSkin now with 15% off using code macOSken at oneskin.co/macOSken. F1's move to Apple TV seems to be accelerating the sport. That is the word from Liberty Media CEO Derek Chang. Road and Track had Chang discussing the new partnership with Wall Street analysts in a call on Thursday. According to the CEO, the initial results have been promising. Our partnership with Apple and its tech-forward platform is already delivering early innovative enhancements to our F1 product with multi-view data feeds, and onboard features, creating a more engaging viewing experience for our fans. Viewership increased through the first 3 races of the year. Fan engagement is up. Do hockey, you cowards! Kidding. Probably wouldn't watch that either. According to Chang, viewing across all segments of the race weekend has been very strong. He went on to say that Apple has done a great job of bringing people into the ecosystem, with existing fans coming along for the ride. Changing platforms, from ESPN to Apple TV in this case, could be a dicey thing. Any such move runs the risk of backlash from fans, including not knowing where to find it, not knowing how to find it, and just not liking what they find. We haven't had any of that, said the CEO. In fact, he went on, it's been to the positive in terms of how consumers have been interacting with the product, with the viewing, and the commentary out there has been, it's been a good experience for them. Sorry for how old this next thing makes me sound, but was there anything wrong with the 1991 movie Cape Fear? Of course, somebody 35 years ago probably asked the same question about the 1962 movie Cape Fear when they were remaking it in 1991. Anyway, Apple TV's out with a new trailer for Cape Fear, the series. That's said to be based on the novel the 62 film was based on, as well as the 1991 film. According to Apple's press release, a storm is coming for happily married attorneys Anna and Tom Bowden when Max Cady, the notorious killer they're responsible for putting behind bars, is let out of prison, and he wants vengeance. Because great stories can change the world. You gotta love the cast on this one. Amy Adams, Javier Bardem, Patrick Wilson. You'd know him if you saw him. Heavy-hitting producers, too, including Steven Spielberg, who produced the 91 remake, and Martin Scorsese, who directed the 91 remake. All of that said, I don't think I can take it, based on last month's teaser and this week's trailer, both of which are up on YouTube. Can't really blame Apple for funding a remake. People keep watching them. For folks interested in this one, you'll get your chance in just under a month. The first 2 of 10 episodes of the latest Cape Fear reboot hit Apple TV on Friday, the 5th of June. And finally today, something new to view today. Now streaming on Apple TV, the suspense, thriller, drama series, Unconditional. Apple's press release about the show last month said the series follows a mother-daughter vacation turned nightmare when the 23-year-old daughter is arrested for drug smuggling in Moscow. Her mother refuses to accept the charges, but her fight for the daughter's freedom pulls her into a deadly web of crime and corruption. 8 episodes for this one. The first 2 episodes of Unconditional are streaming now on Apple TV. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by NordLayer, toggle-ready network security built for your business. Get savings on top of savings with offer code macOSKen-10-NordLayer at nordlayer.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by OneSkin, a new standard for your skin. Try it now with 15% off using code macOSKen at oneskin.co/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOSKen at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macOSKen.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.